Alright, game 2 up here, and we have a few things on the board of interest. So there's minions, right? And natural thing to do when you see minions is to build a minion stack, buy as many of them as you could. However, the board isn't really conducive to that, I think, because Trashin is slow and weak in Salvager only. Additionally, there's a couple cursors on the board, Soothsayer and Witch. And I mean, if you go after Soothsayers, then you're probably not going to see a lot of your minions all together. I think whatever it is I wanted to do, either build the minion stack on some kind of engine with nobles and hireling draw, or if I just want to play with maybe Soothsayer, treasure trove, and money, either of those things I figure would make use of a salvager, so I just decided to open with that and see how things go. Silver, obviously, to try to get to 5, and we are here at 5, and what do we buy? Well, at this point, I said, okay, here's what's going on. I don't believe in the engine. It's too sketchy. Trashing is too weak. I'm just gonna play some kind of money-ish strategy here. So give me a Soothsayer, and let's go gain in gold and put in curses into people's decks. That'll be cool. With the salvager around, I could salvage gold in the late game to get big bucks. So this is what we're going for here. Soothsayer, one Soothsayer, I believe, and then after that, subsequent 5s are probably going to be minions. Perhaps one of these 5s, like here, should have been a treasure trove. Perhaps it should have been a treasure trove, but it is going to be a minion instead. So 5 for my opponent here, and he is also thinking, goes for the witch. So this leads me to believe that he wants to build a more engine style deck, you know, nobles for actions, witch to draw cards. And I thought about it as well, as I mentioned before, and the nobles, man, the nobles, I find it very difficult to pay $6 for Necropolis. So anyways, I use that minion to discard just to get to my Soothsayer faster, so I can start pumping gold into my deck. That is primarily the purpose of the minion. I will play with a second Salvager, it will be useful as my deck gets thicker. So yeah, this is what I'm using the minions for, right? Just to try and find these Soothsayer and try to jam as many curses into my opponent's deck and golds into my deck. So that's why when I miss 6, I'll pick up a minion. Right, so here, I will just pick up a silver money strategy, right? Silver isn't gonna hurt that. So 6 here is going to be a hireling. Now, I think this hireling is going to be quite useful, especially if my opponent starts to pick up minions. It'll force me down to... This is not a great hand. This is a terrible hand. Made me cry, almost. Yeah, so if I get the hireling in play, then minion attacks won't hurt me in terms of reducing my hand size. So that is good. And if I'm not attacked, then great, I have 6 card hand. I have a 6 card hand, right? So I could have a lot more options with that. In the meantime, my opponent has picked up a treasure trove and a second witch and is jamming curses in me a lot more frequently than I am putting curses into his deck. And now he's starting in on the nobles. So I, on 6 here as well, I am also going to pick up on nobles. I saw some collision earlier. Perhaps the nobles could mitigate that. Perhaps, perhaps. So another curse into my deck and another nobles for me here. So I am just going to try and rush out the nobles here. It is also angling a little bit towards a 3 pile because curses will run out and my opponent seems to be buying nobles, and if I buy nobles too, well, that'll be 2 piles out and then salvagers are looking quite low. So we have to be a little bit careful around that 3 pile ending there. So I think I have, what, 3 or 4 nobles now? My opponent is actually stringing together something sometimes, right? So here nobles, witch, nobles, salvager, getting rid of a curse from his deck. But picking up a silver. I imagine if he was building the engine, he would prefer to have vassal instead of silver by this point. But I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. So it seemed like an engine, right? In which case you prefer vassal. So here, fortunate enough to still get up to 5 even though I drew dead with the nobles. Not a bad draw with the nobles actually, just a minion dead. I could live with that. Could definitely live with that. And my opponent actually has no minions in his deck, right? So right now this hireling is just putting in so much work for me here, making sure that I get 6 card hands and I have a lot more options with a 6 card hand. Here, this is just a lot of money to not buy a province with, so I am going to go ahead and start in on those. And my opponent immediately follows me, salvaging a gold already. So he is getting a lot of gold from his treasure troves, right? In fact, so much so that I feel like buying duchy now is the right call. I feel like we're just going to go province, 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 province from here on out. And you know what? It turns out to be the case. In which case the duchy is the correct thing to buy there. Nobles to draw here because I want to see all my money again as soon as possible. These are 2 golds that's like in excess, way in excess of $8. Doesn't bode well for the rest of my shuffle, but we'll have to see, right? I am getting 6 card hands very nicely. So my opponent now holds off on the provinces, picks up a duchy instead. Almost get into province here. Not quite, but I will take the duchy. And we are very close on points actually. And the curses have been distributed now. So 2 piles are out. And we'll see what happens here. We have salvagers in our deck. We can see some explosive stuff happening. So 4 duchies left, 4 provinces. Here I am going to take a province because I can. So we are going to gobble up this gold with the salvager and pick up a province. I could have picked up an estate here, but I didn't think it was worth it at the time. Alternatively, 2 duchies is our play here. But oh, I did pick up the estate. My apologies. 2 duchies was our play there, but that looks like craziness because my opponent could make an equivalent play and then tie the game up, right? And I don't want that. I feel like I can win this game. I feel like I don't have to play into some kind of tie. So he comes up with another province here. So we are at 2 provinces, 4 duchies. I'm 1 point ahead because of that estate that I bought just now. So what I'm going to do here, it seems very straightforward, but I'm just making sure that I don't have any other play. Salvage the suits here and pick up a province, maybe? I could pick up a province. That would put me 7 points ahead, but I don't want to play the game where my opponent could salvage and buy province estate and tie, or salvage trash or curse, buy province and tie. I don't want to play that game, so I am going to pick up a duchy here. I feel like I could win, right? I feel like I could win. I don't want to give my opponent an opportunity to tie. So I'm playing for the win here, which means not buying the province, buying a duchy instead, and with my remaining money, I can pick up another salvager. In for the reshuffle here. So I have 3 salvagers in deck now. We'll see if I can find them. So nobles into witch for my opponent. That's actually quite good for him. And a salvager comes out. He gets rid of our curse and picks up a duchy here. So yeah, look, he had 2 gold in hand, right? So he could have maybe salvaged gold and bought province or something. I don't know what else he had in his hand. Anyways, we're here now. My computer was just lagging a little bit there. This, I don't want to buy a duchy because then it's very easy for my opponent to tie the game up again. So I go looking for something better than duchy. This is what the minions are for. Very, very helpful in discarding and finding things. And I come up with this at the end of it, right? Salvager and gold. So I think I do have to salvage the gold, but I'm not going to buy the duchy. Again, now it is even more scary than allowing my opponent to tie. He could win if I buy the duchy. He just has to salvage some curse and buy a duchy, for example, and he wins with that. I did attack him with the minion hand, but I don't know what I drew him into, right? So I actually drew him into this. Terrible, like worst case scenario. Not worst case, but this is like very, very good for him. Being able to draw. He also sees his salvager, but is only able to trash a curse. And actually, that leaves a win in hand for me here. So just have to trash the nobles with the salvager and buy the last two duchies to win the game. So this one was a bit weird. I wasn't sure about me buying all these nobles. I wanted one or two maybe, and then I ended up buying more just because it would deny my opponent and also push the game towards a three pile, which I felt like I had better chances in. So there you go, money here as opposed to some kind of engine thing, and seeing it through with some careful play at the end. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you.